Testing, testing. This is Salt and Sand Studios, ready for yoga intermissions, just checking audio and visual. We'll give that a pause here before we start. We have just about a minute before we start. I can see that the mic is picking things up, which is good. All right. Sound and vision are good. Before we get started on our flow today, this is a moment to consider the theme, which is heart shine, and the opportunity to kind of peel back all the energetic layers, all the malarkey, all of the stuff that we have developed over the course of our lives that obfuscate or obscure or cover up the warmth and compassion of our hearts. So this practice is designed to open up, stretching softly the chest, the shoulders, the hip flexors especially, although we will do lots of other stuff as well. So welcome to Yoga Intermissions today, the day before Father's Day. If you are watching this live, my name is Karen, coming to you from Salt and Sand Studios in Vermont. You are going to start on your back today, but as I mentioned, we're focusing on heart opening. So I just wanted to share a little bit of mindfulness around where the opening is coming from. Of course, the whole body is involved, but essentially what we often see is people really shoving their hips forward and leaning backward, as opposed to making the whole torso long from the hips all the way up to the rib cage, and then letting the shoulders soften a little bit so that we can lift from the center of the heart as if there is this wonderful stream of light or ribbon of light that is attached to somebody, I don't know, maybe up in the clouds, and that our warmth and compassion and unconditional love for that somebody is riding up that stream of light or that ribbon of light. So if you think about it more as working the whole back, but especially the heart lifting, the belly still draws in, the shoulder blades draw together, and when we move into some of our back bends, the head will drop. So you're going to get started on your back this morning, or whatever time it is that you are taking this practice. So go ahead and move to your back. If you need to bend your knees, allow for that to happen. Start the playlist if you have found Heart to Heart under Karen McPhillips on Spotify. Go give that a go. And on the back, as I said, knees could be bent, and if that's the case, make sure the big toe mounds of the feet are really pressed to the earth. And for each of us, whether your legs are extended or the knees are bent, you're going to lift one shoulder blade off the earth, really squeeze it toward the sky, and then send it forward toward the hip on the same side and let it rest down. Take that on the other side, lifting the shoulder blade off the mat, sending it toward the front of the mat or the hip on the same side and releasing it. Now imagine that the tops of the shoulders could roll back toward the earth. And if that made your belly puff out, you're going to press the pelvis toward the sky. It's a beautiful place to start to notice what feels tight, what feels loose, what feels strong, maybe what doesn't feel so strong, without judging it. We keep that tailbone tucked a little toward the sky or the pelvis tilted toward the sky in order to take all of the effort as much as possible out of the low back. We're actually going to start with a little bit of a heart opener by taking the shoulder blades and moving them closer to one another underneath you. And then pressing the tops of the shoulders, like the heads of the shoulders, if you will, back to the earth. So really teeny tiny opening where I can feel it as primarily between the shoulder blades and underneath the shoulder blades. But now I'm going to inhale and press the floor away with the tops of the triceps, the fingertips, and see if I can lift those shoulder blades a little bit off the mat, even while tucking the tailbone. It's helpful to press the feet to the earth. This is in prep for something we will do before we come to our seated posture, but just giving us this initial sense for where the heart is and what the heart space feels like. Where in the shoulders we might be a little tight. We're going to loosen all that down to the earth. Take the right knee and draw it in toward your chest. Give it a really nice squeeze. Tilt the tailbone up and press the shoulder blades down. Ankle circles. First direction and then reverse it. And if the shoulders are rounding up toward the sky, see if you can press them toward the earth. Open and close your toes. And then extend that right leg toward the sky. Our first hamstring work. Keep pressing the big toe mound of the left foot to the earth. It loves to drop out. And see if the hands can move up toward the calf. And if they can't, no big deal. You still want to press the shoulder blades toward the earth. Reach the heel of the right foot toward the sky. We're now going to, if the left knee is not bent, bend it. And take the right ankle, place it above the left knee. Activate the right foot. Use your right hand to press the right knee away from you. And we draw the right knee back into the chest. We meet it with the left knee. So both knees are lifting. You're using your hands or your forearms to squeeze the knees or shins inward and compress the belly with the thighs. A little rock left and right, massaging out the spine. And then place the sole of the right foot on the earth. Hugging that left knee in a lot, ankle circles. Reverse direction. Open and close your toes. Press the shoulder blades to the earth. If your right knee is not bent, make it so. And cross the left ankle above it, activating that foot. You'll press the left knee away from you with your left hand, maybe the palm or the heel of the hand. Unwind from this. Keep the knees bent and drop the right knee outward until the outer part of the leg comes toward the earth. It might not touch the earth. The sole of the right foot is contacting the inner line of the left foot. Loosen the shoulders. Let the heart settle. And then bring the sole of the right foot to the earth. Tilt on the outer edge of the left foot to drop the left knee outward. We're starting slow and easy. We will today move into Supta Baddha Konasana, but not right now. Bring your arms now into a cactus shape. If you're feeling pretty stretchy under the arms, across the shoulders, and across the chest, you might go ahead and lift the arms a little bit and bringing the fingers to touch above you, but that's not required. Wherever you are, see if you can press the pelvis toward the sky, so you're taking a little bit of the arch out of the low back. And again, we're going to scoot the shoulder blades a little together, press the floor away with them to lift the heart. You want to press the elbows toward the earth. We'll move into a full body pencil stretch. Legs extend on the mat, toes point forward, and the arms reach above the head. You might even hook your thumbs, spread your fingers so they're like little wings, and reach, 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 reach. Breathe in as deeply as you can. Stretch, 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 and then release everything. Our final lying down posture, starting the class. I'm going to sneak the hands, palms facing down underneath your low back, right at the top of your glutes, right where the sacrum is. Elbows are bent outward. We're going to work a little back bend here again. Moving the shoulder blades toward each other underneath you, tilting the pelvis a little toward the sky. Extend the torso. You might even lift the head, reach it back, reach the chin toward your chest, and then drop the head back to the earth. Slowly, we're going to draw one elbow in toward the back ribs and then the other, so you can come up to your forearms. Point your toes, extend the torso, press the floor away with your forearms, lift your heart, drop your head back. It might feel like the shoulders are shrugging up toward the ears, so see if you can adjust for that. And maybe, but not required, the top of the head comes to the earth behind you. Belly nice and long. We breathe here. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly loosen the shoulders to the earth. Bend your knees. Remove your hands from underneath you and roll on to one side. Gather the knees in toward the heart. Maybe the hands are under your head. And bring to mind here an intention or a dedication for your practice. It might be staying with your breath or learning something new or taking time to relax. With your top hand, press yourself up to a comfortable seat. That might be with legs crossed or something else. Spine gets nice and long. We draw the belly in, tuck the chin, lower the shoulders away from the ears. Drop the hands so that the backs of the fingers are on the earth. Feel the connection, sitting bones, ankles, feet, maybe the thighs. For some of us, maybe the knees, the backs of the fingers on the earth. And then the lightness of the front body and the top of the head as your energy reaches up and meets space. Press your palms together at your heart. We'll kick off the more active part of our practice with a chant of Om. It's not required to join in. Just like anything in this practice, it is your practice, not mine. I offer guidance. I offer safety and movement and alignment cues. You do what your body says feels right. We'll take a deep, full breath in through the nose. Find our way into child's pose. A great place to, I say, get more physical. Makes me think of Olivia Newton-John. Knees nice and wide, face toward the mat, heads resting on something, which could be your hands or a prop. Another opportunity to not only open across the chest and under the arms and into the shoulders, but also the spine and the low back, left to right. Big breath in. Release it out the mouth. Palms come together. Pinky fingers are on the mat. Elbows bend so the fingers come to the nape of the neck or maybe between the shoulder blades. And one at a time, the elbows walk forward, creating a little bit more of a stretch, but we keep the belly strong so we're not dumping everything into the low back. Palms return to the earth. We draw into a tabletop. And we'll take just a couple micro movements here before moving into cat-cow so that we can feel the isolation of the tailbone and the space between the shoulder blades. So teeny, teeny, teeny movement of the tailbone down, the belly in. Press energy into the tops of the feet. Nose points toward the earth, so the neck is long. Fingers are wide, but if the thumb is like 90 degrees away from the index finger, you're going to bring it a little closer. Inner elbows are kind of looking at each other, and now we press the floor away and round a little bit between the shoulder blades. So we have a nice long flat back, as if you could have a little tea party using the back as a table. Now we move fully into the cat shape. Breathing out, we scoop the belly in, draw the tailbone down, and drop the head. Press the floor away with the feet and the palms. Inhale, drop the belly, only as much as it feels okay, into your cow shape. It does not have to be a deep back bend. You want the shoulders away from the ears to add strength and stretch. Into your cat shape, again, as deep or shallow as you would like. Utilizing all the muscles. Inhale for cow. And we'll take one more round of that. From our final cow shape, a neutral spine, that little tuck of the tailbone, space, real estate between the shoulder blades. Hands will walk forward about 3 inches. Toes tuck under. Very slowly use the belly a lot to press to a downward facing dog. Once you have the hips nice and high and the legs are as long as it makes sense for them to be, you can pedal in and out of your feet. Maybe adjusting slightly the length of your down dog and checking that you don't have all your energy in the heels of your hands. Find a moment of stillness, making sure the feet are neither too wide nor too narrow. We lift to the tiptoes on a breath in. Keep the heels away from the earth. Breathe out and press the chest toward the thighs. Take another breath in. As you exhale, drop the heels over to the right. So you're sort of on the outer edge of the right heel and the inner edge of the left. Press equally into both hands, both shoulders. Inhale, rise back to the tiptoes. Exhale, heels drop to the other side. Inhale, back to the tiptoes. Exhale, bend your knees and look past your hands. Walk to them for a forward fold at the front of your mat. That could be a lot of steps or just a few. Ragdoll. That moment when you've already started practice and you realize you haven't taken your allergy medicine. Working to breathe through the nose. Hands release to the mat. Hands glide to the shins, half lift. Breathe out, forward fold. Float all the way to standing. Arms will lift high once the shoulders stack over the hips. Exhale, Samasthihi, hands to your heart. Tadasana, hands drop by your sides. Another few breaths here to note that this gives us an opportunity to shed another layer for opening the heart. This time, imagining that the collarbones could get wider in this space. And if the lowest ribs on your front body are jutting forward, you're going to tuck them a little toward the bony hips on the front of the body. Shoulder blades get a little squeeze. Inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, that could be a breath in or out. Exhale, forward fold. Left foot to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Staying on the ball of the back foot. I'm heel toeing the right foot out to the right to find my balance. Belly energy draws away from the thigh. You're stretching out the left calf and the left hamstrings. On an exhale, extend your front leg, fold over it. Peel the ball of that foot away from the earth. See if you can broaden the collarbones. Come back into your runner's lunge. Lengthen and fold over the front leg. Lift the ball of the foot off. Inhale. Right knee comes back over the right ankle. And one more time. We shift long. Press into the heel to start with. Then float the toes and the ball of the foot off the mat. Come forward, runner's lunge. Hands move forward. Step into chair pose, Utkatasana. Believe it or not, this powerful pose, this chaotic pose, also gives you the opportunity to open your heart. Maybe you bring cactus-shaped arms to help that. And then notice how much you're dumping into your low back. Tuck the pelvis forward. Widen the collarbone, squeeze the shoulder blades. Inhale, rise up to standing. We'll take a hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Breathe in, give the arm a little tug. Exhale, it tilts over to the right. Doesn't matter how deep we get with our letter C, or you could call it moon shape. We're lifting the heart, opening up the left side of the body. If it feels right, you might take the left foot behind the right or cross the ankles. Unwind from this, hands high. We switch our grasp. Left fingers on the right wrist, give it a tug. Exhale, it tilts over to the left. Tucking the right foot behind the left or crossing the ankles if that feels right for you. And we lift the heart to the sky. Unwind the feet, unwind the hands, lift the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana for a half lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, right foot back of the mat, runner's lunge. Heel toe the left foot to the left if that is helpful for you to square your hips and enable the belly energy to lift away from the thigh. Shoulders toward the hips and a nice long stance here. Really reach the right heel behind, stretching the calf and the hamstrings. Big breath in. Exhale, straighten your front leg, fold over it. Energy in the heel to start before you peel the ball of the foot away from the earth. Belly in and up, so you're creating real estate for your fold. Press the foot back to the mat, the heart forward, left knee over the left ankle. Keep pressing that right heel away. Again, extend, fold, lift the toes and the ball of the foot. Inhale, come forward, runner's lunge. And exhale, extend the leg, lift the ball of the foot. Last time, inhale, runner's lunge. Hands move forward, step into chair pose, Utkatasana. Big toes can touch with the heels apart, or you might have the feet a little wide, especially if you have cranky knees. Heart, tailbone, belly. East-west pose, left arm forward, right arm behind you. Arms come forward, heart comes forward. East-west pose, opposite side. Draw the arms forward, then lift them to the sky. Pause here. Stay in that chair. You got this. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, cactus arms. Fingers intertwine at your low back, or you could just hook them together. We keep the elbows bent to start. Now, if your natural inclination was to just shift into the low back and shift the hips forward, we're going to pause for a second. Draw the lowest ribs on the front rib cage toward your hips. Open up your collarbones. Lift your heart. Now start to feel long in the torso. Even if you're like me and you're not very long in the torso, imagine there's space between the hip bones and the rib cage. Then the arms can extend if that feels okay. We're working into the back bend before we join the lower half with a chair. So you find the orientation as if you're spinning the upper arms backward. Then we move into chair, Utkatasana, checking in with the knees. Rise to the balls of the feet. Spin those thighs toward each other. They don't have to touch. Draw the sitting bones down. Belly's got to really work here. Stay in your chair, heels toward the earth. Open up your heart, lifting it toward the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Hands remain bound, but maybe they float from your spine. Exhale, hands release to the earth. Find a half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward fold, a step back for a high plank. We're going to drop the right knee to the earth. Kickstand it out to the right, so toward the edge of the mat, and bring the inner part of the left foot to the mat. And press the whole left foot to the mat. The heel has moved over to the right. A modified side plank. If you would like to power up and have both legs long, you might feel free to do that. I mean, you should feel free to do that. We're shifting the hips up and forward and lifting the left arm toward the sky. This in and of itself is a little heart opener, depending on how you work your way into it. Use the belly. The left hand comes down to the mat, left knee drops to the mat. This time we bring the left foot out to the left like a little kickstand. Extend the right leg behind. Drop the right heel over to the left. Then come to the whole bottom of that foot as you float the right arm high. Lift the hips, press the floor away, open the heart, belly strong. Exhale, right hand to the earth. A long tabletop so the hands and wrists are ahead of your shoulders. Knees as wide as your hips, belly in and up. Shift the heart forward of your thumbs and slowly lower all the way down to the mat. Our own little chaturanga. You might need to untuck your hips a little bit. We're going to find a little baby cobra. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale to the mat. Bring your forearms to the earth so the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. A sphinx pose. Press the bony hips to the earth. The thighs meet the earth as well. Navel moves away. Shoulders away from the ears. Shoulder blades start to like each other. Imagine that you're peeling the front of the mat backward toward your hips. Exhale down to the mat. I'm going to move into one more back bend from here. If you like a deeper cobra or maybe an upward dog where the hands are outside the chest or the rib cage. Difference between cobra and upward dog? Thighs. On the mat for cobra, off the mat for upward dog. Breathing, 3, 2, 1, child's pose. Downward dog. So we've done flexion and extension in the spine. We've done a little bit of heart opening. We've done a little bit of hip and hamstring and calf opening. We've done some twisting. We're going to work a bit more on back bend and psoas, the hip flexor. Inhale the right leg high off the mat. Exhale into a crescent warrior. Right foot plants inside the right hand. A float upward. Activate the left glutes and left hamstrings. You're drawing that left heel toward the mat, but it's not coming down to the mat. Any adjustment you need. Right knee over the right ankle. Hands to your heart. We're going to stay upright for a little twist over to the right. Intertwine your fingers. Spread the elbows wide so the palms are facing the torso. And then bring the hands to cup your right hip. Drop your chin as you gaze to the right. And slowly lower the back knee to the mat. Untuck your toes. And then if you're like me, maybe the stance is a little short. So the front foot scoots forward. Maybe it moves outward for balance. We sink into the front hip crease. Press energy into the top of the back foot and the heel of the right. Spread the arms in east-west posture. Again, left arm forward, right arm behind. Reverse this, right hand down behind your left glutes or your thigh, and the left arm reaches high. So we're finding a little back bend again here and deepening the hip flexor opening. Exhale, left hand down to the earth. Right arm floats high. Keep that right knee pointing straight forward, twist from the navel. Half split Ardha Hanumanasana, right hand outside your right foot. That right leg extends in front. The ball of the foot peels off the earth. The heart reaches forward, belly in and up. Scoot the pelvis forward. Find a fold, long spine. We'll step into pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana, sole of the right foot on the earth. Hands move forward, back toes tuck, so you can press both legs long. Shorten your stance, warrior one back foot. Maybe you find props for your hands either side of your right foot or just in front of it. You peel the right hip backward in space and fold over the legs, again aiming for a long spine. Both feet are all the way on the earth, so if that is not the case, make it so. Maybe there's a little magic. Back foot steps up to meet the right. Afloat all the way to standing. Breath out for your forward fold. You might come down with a flat back if you like. Halfway lift. Hands plant. Step, step back, high plank. Your choice, your low plank could be with knees down, which is what I am going to take to shift the heart forward of the thumbs. Come halfway down, chaturanga. Move into a back bend. That could be cobra, up dog, scorpion prep. Move to downward facing dog. Any way that makes sense for your body. Press the chest toward the thighs. Gaze is between the feet, the ankles, or the knees. Left leg floats high off the mat. We move into crescent warrior, taking our time to set up the foundation. Moving into our back bend with a powerful lower body. A sort of triangle shape, the sturdiest shape we can make. Back bend, cactus shape arms. Activate the right glutes and the hamstrings. Hands to the heart. A twist over to the left. We're staying upright here. Fingers intertwine. Palms face your chest as the elbows work out away from one another. Hands cup your left hip, the chin drops. The back knee slowly lowers to the earth. Right toes untuck. Adjust the front foot as need be so that the left knee is directly over the left ankle as much as possible, and you're not feeling wobbly. Right glutes are active to keep all of the energy out of your low back. Feel the left heel press to the earth as if it's anchored there. And the same with the shoelace side of the right foot. East-west, right arm forward, left arm behind. Reach, 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 reach. Right hand down, left arm high. Half split, left hand down, left leg extends for a fold over it. Parsvottanasana, sole of the foot on the earth, back toes tuck under. Both hips lift high off the mat to extend the legs, and maybe a shortening of the stance for a warrior one back foot. I think Parsvottanasana sounds like a dessert. Let's have some Parsvo. One of my favorites. My grandmother used to make it. Back foot steps up to meet the front. Inhale, float to standing. Arms sweep high. Exhale, forward fold. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant. Let's step back for high plank. We're going to pause in high plank for a moment before we shift direct to downward dog, lifting the hips using the belly. Find our full downward dog, belly in and up, and peel slowly forward back to a plank. Knees will drop to the earth. Toes untuck. Anahatasana, inchworm pose, also known as puppy dog pose, where the hands walk forward until the forehead, chin, or chest comes to the earth. Sometimes shoulders get cranky, so you might bend your elbows outward. I have a very small issue with my microphone touching the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and take a block under my forehead. And if your body doesn't find it the easiest thing in the world to get to the ground, you might place something underneath your chest or your forehead or both of those things. I'm going to use my Nancy pillow. And here, return to your intention. And imagine that it is the calmest, refreshing little pool of water that settles on your back, right behind your heart. And this wonderful water, each drop, like magic, creates this pool, which turns into a little river. And this river runs around your heart, allowing it to soften, protecting it, refreshing it. We're going to draw the tailbone down, draw the belly in, walk the hands back toward the knees. We'll take a little moment here as we stack the shoulders over the hips for a sway left and right. For some, that back bend might have been pretty intense. So if you would like to pause with your hands on one thigh for a little bit of a deeper or longer twist, feel free before you move to the opposite side. We're going to work into a couple more back bends today. One will be reverse tabletop. I had thought about wild thing or a flipped dog, but I like the idea of a reverse tabletop, a little kinder in a 50-minute class. I'm going to find a modified camel first. Coming up to our knees, what I like to call standing on our knees as opposed to kneeling, a very simple word. You're welcome to tuck the toes under or not. If you have a full camel and you are open enough to practice that, you feel sturdy and steady and safe, you may find your way into your full camel. We're going to start with a modified camel, taking the heels of the hands onto the lower back, right where it meets the fleshy part of your body, the buttocks. We're going to press the flesh down, then shift the hips forward. Extend the front body from the top of the pelvis all the way to the sternum, the breastbone. And lift the side bodies as well so that the rib cage is away from the hip bones. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Heart lifts, as we talked about at the beginning of class, like there's this beautiful ribbon of light attached to your heart, reaching up above your ceiling to someone you love unconditionally. We're going to take all of that again, pressing the flesh away, shift the hips forward, extend the front body, extend the side body and back body, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulders, maybe the head drops back, opening up the throat. Full sequence once again, if it works for you, pressing the flesh down. We shift the pelvis forward, extend the front body and the side bodies, draw the belly in, squeeze the shoulders, lift the heart, loosen the head. And if you're here and it feels right, you could bring one hand to a heel and float the other hand high. Tucking the tailbone forward to take lots of the energy out of the low back. And if you're ready, hands to your heart, and we switch opposite hand to the heel, and the remaining hand floats high. Together, we bring our hands to our heart, gather the belly in and up, and stack the shoulders over the hips. Untuck your toes if they're tucked, and come to a seat. We're going to work our way a little left and a little right before we move deeper into a twist. And then we'll find reverse tabletop. Sitting down onto our glutes. Maybe coming about halfway up the mat. We're going to bring the sole of the left foot onto the earth and the right foot right next to it, but the knee will drop out to the right. Right hand comes behind you. We take a twist over the right shoulder. You take your left elbow and press it against your left knee and the knee toward the elbow. Then the left hand can come somewhere on the right leg. Breathe in, exhale, twist. Inhale, breathe out, twist. One more time. Come front and center. Drop both knees out. You can have a large diamond or a small diamond inside the legs for either butterfly / starfish or Baddha Konasana. If you like, you might stay seated up straight so you can extend your hips a bit more, or you can bring the hands to the ankles or the thumbs to the insides of the feet, inner arches. Shift the heart forward, then round the spine a lot, scooping the pelvis forward to find a fold over your legs, a sort of cat shape over your legs. Rise back up to your seat, this time the sole of the right foot to the mat. Left hand behind you, right elbow inside the right knee. They press toward one another as the right hand comes to the left knee or shin or thigh for a twist over the left. Make your way back to center. Soles of both feet on the mat. The hands come behind you. There's space between your feet, hip distance wide, and the hands are the same distance away. We're going to gather the belly in, press into the floor to shift the hips off the mat, finding our reverse tabletop. You might drop your head back. You might need to move around. This might be more than you desire to do, so maybe you drop the sitting bones toward the heels, but we breathe here. 3. Open the heart. 2 and 1. Sitting bones come behind the heels. Knees drop out to the sides. We find our modified fish, modified Supta Baddha Konasana by dropping the forearms to the floor, kind of like how we were in fish pose, but this time with the soles of the feet together. Same gig, long in the low back, so tilt the pelvis up. That'll activate your hips. Lengthen the front body. Bring the shoulder blades together, lift the heart, drop the head back. We breathe here. 5. 4, press the floor away. 3, 2, and 1. Release one elbow at a time, coming all the way to your back. Full Supta Baddha Konasana. You can bring the hands to the hip creases, one hand to the belly and one to the heart, or the arms overhead in a sort of dancer-like pose. Breathe into the low spine. Open up the heart. Place the sole of the right foot on the earth and sole of the left foot on the earth. And shift your hips over to the right. Drop the knees to the left. A deeper twist. The arms can flop open. Gaze over the right shoulder. Gently return the entire length of the spine to the mat. To shift the hips over to the left this time and drop the knees to the right for your twist, opposite side. Return the entire length of the spine to the mat. Shift it so it is as straight top to bottom as it would normally be. One at a time, the knees hug toward your shoulders. You cross your ankles. Hands reach above the shins, so inside the knees, to connect with the outer edges of the feet. You might need to curl your head up to help with that to start. You're going to draw the feet toward the knees, the heels toward the belly. Bring the shoulder blades and the head back to the earth. Squeeze those feet in. Maybe find a rock left and right. Squeeze those feet in as opposed to your other feet. And switch the cross of your ankles, taking all of that to the other direction, so we are as even on each side as we possibly can be. Symmetrical, that's the word. And if you like one more posture or shift for yourself, maybe that's a happy baby, or perhaps it is legs up the wall, or maybe it's just hugging the knees in with a rock left and right. Extend the back of the neck wherever you go. A tiny little activation of the belly. And that rock left and right gives you a very nice massage on the low back. We did a lot of back bending today. Let your light shine on. And a movement into your final resting posture, whatever that means for you today. You might place something under your knees or your neck. You might find sitting feels better. We'll take a couple moments here to integrate the practice. And become aware once again of your body in your space. The weight of the body on the earth, the support of the earth to the body. Let the breath deepen. Allow for some movement to re-enter the body or reawakening it, finding it in its current moment as you roll onto one side. On whichever side you choose, a return to your intention or your dedication. And consider someone in your life, maybe someone you know well, maybe someone you don't, maybe the someone is you, who could use a little bit of light shining onto their heart to recognize the compassion that they carry and can share. With that person pictured in front of you, press yourself up to a comfortable seat, pressing the palms together at the heart so that we can use a chant of Om or an exhale to share all the merits of the practice out to those we pictured and all those who could use a little extra love. Breathe in as fully as you can. Thumb knuckles meet with the center of your forehead. May your light shine on. Namaste. As always, terrific to practice with you. My name is Karen here on YouTube Live for the summer and probably autumn season at 9 a.m. for the live stream, and of course at any time for the recording. Coming to you from Vermont, Salt and Sand Studios. If you are local or happen to be visiting, we also have plenty of outdoor classes here and in other locations in Vermont. I hope you have a chance to share what you have experienced and learned. And well, feedback is welcome. Karen at saltandsandstudios.com, and donate if you can. Have a great remainder of your day, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.